Hey, my name is Chad. This video, I am trying to not be directly in the sun, but it kind of looks weird. I'm out here at my range to do some more testing with new barrels. So, got it done last week and everything seemed to have gone well. It at least didn't blow up in my face. So, I'm off to a good start as far as I'm concerned. Since I'm needing to break in the barrel, I've got about 30 rounds on it. I finished 15 off that first day. Came out here yesterday evening, got another 3 groups of 5 through it, trying to let it cool down in between each string. I went ahead and set up a target down there, and I kind of collected all the random ammos that I've got left and decided I think the best thing to do, since I got to break it in anyway, is to just go ahead and run through some of it and see what's going to actually end up being the best. I was using this Hornady Match factory ammo when I was first getting started, and that worked well until I started reloading. Tightened it up just a little bit. I picked up some of this Norma Match. It's put together with a 107 Sierra Match King bullet, so it should be good quality. It was a pretty good deal right at the time when I was switching from factory to reloads, and I've got quite a bit of it and just have not shot more than I think 2 boxes worth of it. So we'll see what these look like. And then I've got a little bit left of my old Lapua brass before I switched over to Alpha brass. So this was what I first started reloading with. I've still got some of those loaded up with my last loading. That was a while ago. And then I've got 2 different sets of Alpha brass, some from my previous lot number of brass where I was just rerunning the same 100 cases over and over. And then I've got some of what I was using at the end of my last barrel. So this is loaded up the same way that I had my last several batches loaded up for probably the last, I don't know, 6 or 7 matches are all loaded this way. So I need to eventually see how this is going to perform with the powder and seating depth that I've got already set. So we're going to run through all these random ones first and then finish up with these, see how it groups, see what the speeds are. I was trying to stay around like a 2980-ish on my last barrel. It seemed to like that a little bit more, it would group a little bit tighter. 6 Creedmoor can handle just over 3000 pretty well, but I was noticing that my groups would open up and not be quite as consistent the more that I went over 3000. And my like SDs and ESs were a little more erratic the faster I went. So staying just under 3000 seems to be the sweet spot. I don't know if that's going to hold true on this new chamber and barrel, but we'll find out. I figure since everything is new, it's going to be tighter in there and probably speed up what I currently have loaded. So I need to know where I'm at, figure out if I need to drop a couple tenths on my powder charge. I did after those first 30 rounds before I come out today. I ran some patches through and then nylon brushed it, and I think I got it pretty well cleaned out. At least for me, this is an excessively good cleaning job on it. So, I don't know. I'm going to throw 2 rounds down just to get it fouled up, and then I'll start doing a couple groups of 5. I'll use my chrono and get speeds and everything, and we'll kind of just review each group after it's done and see what we think is going to work best. So, I don't know. It's all kind of an experiment, and I got to get the rounds down the barrel anyway, so might as well get some testing done while we're doing it. I fired 2, kind of like the first shot through the barrel. I have no idea where the first shot went, but then the second shot hit kind of where I have noticed things are trending to from where my scope had been set for the last barrel. So I went ahead and adjusted 8 tenths left and hopefully dropped it by about 4 tenths. So we'll see how close that gets me. We're going to start off just with a couple rounds of the Hornady Match. I don't know exactly how this is going to go, but I kind of want to just get speeds and keep track of more rounds down. So in theory, by the time I get through with this, I'll have 30, 40, 55 or so through this, and I should start to see if things are stabilizing and speeds are staying close to the same, or if I'm going to have to, put more down it. Ideally, I'll be able to, get this barrel stabilized fairly quickly and then just start fire forming my match brass so I can get that load worked up and do kind of load development at the last part of barrel break-in. I don't really want to waste up to 150, nearly 200 rounds and then do load development. So hopefully this is all going to come out to where it's really close to what I had though, and I don't have to do much. So holy crap. Kind of what I was expecting. Speeds were a little bit all over the place. That one had an extreme spread of 59.9. Wow. Standard deviation 21.7. So definitely not at the point of saying that this is, you know, good to go. I want to say I went from 3020 down to 2982, 2997, 2960, and then 3014. So those were all over the place. A little bit worse than what I noticed when I was actually using the Hornady match brass. So I don't really know though if that is just the the loading that they put on their stuff, or if it is still breaking in the barrel. But group size down there, I mean, it's decently small. I still am a little bit right and maybe a little bit high, but much closer to being at the aiming point. So my initial estimate was pretty close, at least for that brass. Now we're going to switch to a different ammo, and that could all change. Okay, so I've got to give my barrel a little bit of time. This is from Norma. It's their Golden Target Match. Supposedly they load it with 107 Sierra Match Kings. So good quality bullet and a good name brand company. From what I remember from when I first got these and was testing them out, they were quite a bit faster than the Hornadys that I was running. And the group sizes were nothing to be particularly happy about. And I don't know if this is just from, you know, sitting in their boxes for a while, but the brass has got kind of that weird rainbow patina to it. So something strange going on. And they use large primered brass, so with what I have components for, I can't even reload this. But I mean, I've got some large rifle primers, but I'm not working up a whole nother load just to use some Norma brass when the alpha brass is being excellent. So we're gonna give this some time to cool down a little bit, and then we'll get back into this, and I'll probably check with you after this is done. Okay, so playing catch up a little bit, the Lapua definitely tightened up. We got a ES of 29.8 right at 30, and a SD of 11.3. That one dropped speeds quite a bit down to like 29.38. Then I ran my old brass alpha that had an average speed of 29.62, so a little bit faster. It had an ES of 34.5 and an SD of 13. I noticed the first shot was 29.87, and then the others were like right around 29.53 to 29.62. So there was one in there that threw off the average. Without that, it was all within, I believe, about 8 feet per second. So you can definitely tell a difference as you improve in brass and construction quality. So when I'm going over it and doing everything by hand, definitely paying a lot more attention than bulk loading. And you know, powder charges are going to vary quite a bit in factory stuff. That's just what I've noticed, along with seating depths. So being able to control stuff definitely makes at least the numbers match up a lot better. Down on target, you'll be able to see in a minute, it is slightly different, but for PRS, not really that much. So totally get away with running factory ammo, but I like reloading because I like numbers way too much. So down to my last 5. These are loaded the way I've currently been loading for my last barrel for the last several matches. And we're just going to see what this does, and then go over everything, call it good for this one. I think so far testing is showing me that I probably don't need to waste a whole lot more ammo. I think this is starting to kind of smooth out, and numbers are evening up quite well. was me being twitchy. Well, I could say looking through the scope, that one looks probably the best. I kind of twitched on one of them, but that seems to be about normal for me. So I think I've got one pretty nice little group and then one just a little bit outside of it. But I'm going to get everything put together and then we'll go over all the numbers and see what it looks like. If you're the kind of person who can't even wait till they gets a new barrel broken in before they want to see how it groups, go ahead and get subscribed, because obviously I'm doing that way too early, but it's coming along pretty good. So stick around and see how this whole thing turns out. Okay, so kind of a broad review here. I went ahead and grabbed my target and I've got my couple little notes. So the worst one so far as numbers went was actually that Norma stuff, which, I mean, you can't really say it's bad, it just wasn't as good as the others, kind of thing. So from the start, the Hornady had a standard deviation of 21.7 and an extreme spread of 59.9. So definitely a wide range there. Then the Norma stuff, that's what jumped up over 3,000 feet per second. We were at like 3018 to 3065, but it had actually an extreme spread of 47.2. Take that back, the Hornady factory ammo was the worst one for the numbers. And then a standard deviation of 17.7. So numbers were good, but I don't like being over 3,000 if I can help it. I don't think it's going to do too much being this early in the barrel's life, but it's just not my preferred way to be. I seem to do just a little bit better when I'm just under 3,000, like in the mid to upper mid, like 2950 to 2980 range. Now my first reloaded stuff, where I started with Lapua brass, still have some of that left. That one had an extreme spread of 29.8, standard deviation 11.3. My average speed on those was 2938, so it dropped way down. And that one, definitely doable, but there's better stuff to be had, I'm sure. And then I moved over to some of my previous lot of Alpha Brass. This is what I had been using, and that one really started tightening up. So I had extreme spread of 34.5 with a standard deviation of 13. I think this was the one that had my shot list, showed like my first shot was 2987, and then I dropped down to 2954.2, 54.2, 61, and then a 53. So from 53 to 61.4, besides that one shot that was out of that group, it was all right clustered together there. So definitely tightened up numbers again. And then my current loading with the brass that I'm using now, that one kind of got weird. My extreme spread was 25.5, and then my standard deviation was 9.5. So just based on the numbers, best overall so far. My average speed there was 2943, which was a little unexpected. I thought these would be slightly faster just because of being a new barrel. So what I'm thinking is my old barrel was probably so dirty because I never cleaned it that it was actually tightening the bore up just a little bit and pushing those through a little bit faster than what this is. But that one was pretty consistent in the mid 29s. So that one started with a 2954, then 2929, 2950, 2948, and 36. So all kind of stayed right in that mid 29 range. That's obviously, if that stays like that over the next, I think from seeing this, I'm not going to bother with just shooting more factory ammo just to shoot through it. I'll probably just start fire forming more of my match brass because I still got to redo all of my sizing dies, everything like that. And from what I'm seeing here, I totally have no reason to just keep putting barrel or rounds through this barrel just for the sake of fouling the barrel more. So numbers all looking pretty good. Now we'll take a look at the actual target. So what I did is took a as I had already shot a few times, and So my very first one, I was aiming down here, and I don't know where the first shot actually went after cleaning the barrel, and then second one way over here. So what I decided to do, obviously adjusted my scope and then start going for groups. So this was the Hornady match ammo. I mean, nothing to be really unhappy about. That's plenty good of a group. And then that Lapua stuff that goes a little bit faster is right there. So for PRS, can make do with any of this stuff. And then getting into my Lapua reloaded ammo over here. I mean, that is a really good group. And then I was a little bit wobbly, I'm pretty sure here, because I had some side to side walking, but my up and down was pretty good. But that was with my old Alpha Brass, and then my newer Alpha Brass. So the last group I shot was this one right there, and yeah, that's pretty well put together. Obviously, any of these top 3 reloaded groups are way better than what's really needed for PRS. So definitely already shooting into that sub half minute range, especially considering how miserable hot it was for a little while and how much I move around just naturally. So I think based on this and just based on the numbers, totally good for my first 60 or so rounds through this barrel. I think I'm up to 57, counting the 2 extras that I put through it. So, but let me know what you think of these. I'm pretty confident that I'm good to just stick with the current load that I have. Go ahead and fire off the brass that I've already got loaded up, and then start setting up my sizing die for this new chamber. I've got a feeling it's going to be really close to the old one, just based on what I know about the company. Bartline Barrel makes good barrel, and Studeville Precision, that's exactly same person, company, whatever, that did my first barrel. So I'm assuming these are going to be very close to each other. So just a few thousandths difference, if there's any at all, but we'll find that out pretty soon. So let me know if you think I need to do any more testing, or if I'm good to just start firing, because honestly, I'd rather not waste another 100 rounds worth of barrel life just doing it just because. So might as well use that to finish fire forming this brass that I've already got loaded up, and then get into reloading. It's still going to be hot here for another couple of weeks, so I'm probably going to skip the next match. That'll be this coming Saturday, because it's down there at Gravestone again, and I learned my lesson in July. That's way too far and way too much to do a really hot time of year. So I think I'm going to take that one off, finish getting everything set up comfortable, and then plan on going the first weekend of September. I believe the first Saturday is back up at Ninica at Balboa. So go back there, see if I can get back in the match groove, and then by the third Sunday of September, we'll be back to doing our local Sunday matches. So that'll be everything's coming up, starting again real quick. So the July and August break is almost going to be over before we even know it. You can probably hear the critters making noise. That means sun is down. It's finally cooling off, but I need to get home. So thank you very much for hanging out with me for a few minutes. I really do appreciate it. Hope you have a great rest of your day and a wonderful weekend. We'll see you on the next one. Bye.